Hello lovelies, I am the Fragnostic, and on this edition of Let's Slay I am finally tackling a title that regularly finds itself at the top of many a scariest games ever made list. Amnesia, The Dark Descent. Amnesia comes to us courtesy of the lovely Sarah and Krista, who also provided the amazing artwork you see on the new end card of me and the man Roach from Hector enjoying a peaceful tandem bike ride. Minutes before he started spontaneously beating me again, threw me off the bike, suddenly realised how fundamental the tandem mechanic in a tandem bike ride is, attempted to use the front pedals with his forelimbs, and finally crashed into the river. He's outside now with a bunch of flowers. I don't want to talk to him, but he's scaring the shit out of postmen. And I need me bills!
Don't forget, some things mustn't be forgotten. The shadow hunting me. I must hurry. My name is Daniel. I live in London at Mayfair. What have I done? This is crazy. Don't forget. Don't forget. I must stop him. Focus. My name is... I am Daniel.
What's my name again? Is it Derek? Dino? Durbity-doo-da-dudley-dumps? God help me, I cannot recall. All is lost. Alright, come on, get up. The Darmin. Do you know what that means? It's an African name, and it means responsible guarantor. I know that because I used to work with a guy called Darmin, and he told me that. I mean, he then asked me to lend him money for the vending machine, but I politely declined, and then politely took a nap in the laundry room. Right then, let's follow this liquid trail and see where it leads us. Deeper into madness, one would imagine. It's a tad blurry, this. Take it out on this plant pot. Ha ha! On the ground with you! Where plants belong. I can't light the candle yet because I have no tinder boxes, good lord. That plops us in about the early to middle 19th century. Is Desmond to have no antiquated luxuries? No squaw-tooth comb? No crotch powder? Oh, I fear I may descend into derangement, sir. Am I drunk? Wobbling all over the fucking place. I demand you let me pass, sir. I am Sir Durbity-doo-dah of Doofingham, and I am no drunk. Do you hear me, sir? You bar your gates to a lord of the realm, you miserable drudge! But who dares? I'll dust your bloody parish. I'll bugger your sauce box, you threepenny doxy. But first, I must void my recesses. Ah, this shall fit my purpose. Have some bloody urine, you wooden pauper! Well, I can't seem to slam any doors shut as the game suggests. Which is a shame, because I feel like it would really enhance Sir Durbity's character. Who are you to bar my way, you insolent hatch? You disgracious slit! You wall cunt! Wall cunt! It's what you are! It's what you are! Oh, here we go. It begins. The madness encroaches. Won't be long before I've got my long johns tied around my head. One of my shoes stuck up my arse. The other one on my hand screaming at the walls in French. Lavez le chien jaune. This might surprise you, but I don't actually know much about what to expect from Amnesia. I very rarely watch other games being played on YouTube. Just because I don't want them ruined for me if I ever do play them. Bloody wind? Alright, I see. Darkness sends us loopy. So I can already sense that this will be one long never-ending quest for fucking tinder boxes. Super. I mean, we'll have to find whatever's causing this draft. That's first on the to-do list. It'll just be a window somewhere. Honestly, it's the same as my house. You open one window in a breeze and you'd think the place were fucking possessed. I think that's the real tragedy of films like Paranormal Activity. All that horror could have been avoided if they just checked their draft proofing. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I've seen localized tornadoes started in living rooms because a cat came in through the flap at the wrong time. Listen to fraggers. Draft proof or face the wrath of Gustor, merciless god of the winds. Oh, there we go, we've got a lantern now. Hopefully we'll be able to procure some more light sources for our collection to minimise our risk of slipping into bug-eyed, slobbering lunacy. But then, you know, this is the 19th century, so our options realistically are limited to setting our legs on fire or capturing a fairy in a jar, which will be a lot bloody easier if they existed. Not just here, but, you know, for alibis and that. Oh dear. Is that an earthquake or am I having withdrawal symptoms? Medicine, I must have my medicine. I must counteract this cursed sobriety immediately. Where has it gone? You cursed carton! You meager thing! How dare you exist! The scary pink blobs end here. Let's see.
8th of August, 1839. I wish I could ask how much you remember. I don't know if there will be anything left after I consume this drink. Don't be afraid, Daniel. I can't tell you why, but know this. I choose to forget. Try to find comfort and strength in that fact. There is a purpose. You are my final effort to put things right. God willing, the name Alexander of Brandenburg still invokes bitter anger in you. If not, this will sound horrible. Go to the inner sanctum, find Alexander, and kill him. His body is old and weak, and yours, young and strong. He will be no match for you. One last thing. A shadow is following you. It's a living nightmare, breaking down reality. I have tried everything, and there is no way to fight back. You need to escape it as long as you can. Redeem us both, Daniel. Descend into the darkness where Alexander waits and murder him. Your former self, Daniel.
Now, this is a lot more like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure than I thought it would be. Where are you hiding, old man? Submit to the Reaper. Your time has come. What? Hello. Not long now, Alexander. Your elderly bouquet swims in my nasal cavity. Smells like a toffee chew, trapped in an armpit. Ah, the entrance hall. Clever ruse. A fragrant taste of rose lingered in his mouth. Turkish delights, he thought. Just like the ones at the consulate in Constantinople. So you don't just get the thrill of adverse weather effects on badly maintained architecture here. You get wine reviews in the loading screens as well. Good lord, entrance hall. More like Minotaur battle arena. State of it.
Alexander, is it inside the castle?
In a manner of speaking. Come, bring the lamp. You've been to the refinery, have you not?
I don't believe I have. Is it connected to the... what did you call it?
The inner sanctum. My most precious chamber, Daniel. And it lies well beyond the refinery. In fact, it lies beneath the very stone of Brandenburg.
Well, Alexander doesn't... Gah! Just open the door to my face! It looks like our path is blocked by Ed Gein's laundry, which is tough and pliant and can't be torn by hand or tools. So I'll have to track down some salts and eat the bastard. I have to say, Alexander didn't sound particularly frail to me. He sounds like one of those old men you don't want to fuck with. Like James Caan, or The Undertaker, or Jeff Bridges. At what point did Jeff Bridges start looking like he could beat the shit out of you? Some point between The Big Lebowski and Iron Man, he morphed into the reason you're terrified to go to your girlfriend's house. Oh, you're having that door too, are you? Right, so Red Terror me Bob. And there's no charges against him because he hits you so hard. You don't just forget the punch, you forget your fucking life. Start a new one in the woods as a bird of prey. Alexander, you great flapping perverts, what's in your peep shaft? Can't quite see. Invisible shark, jacuzzi, servant baths / latrines. Oh yes, I'll bathe for Alexander. You dirty old goats. You muddy fuck.
There should be more Kubrick. Let me see. And one part Aquaforce.
Never enough Cuprites. I'm alright, guys. Forever the struggle. Right, you're not going to read this one to me. Then I shall perform the piece. Early alchemy experiment. This is my third attempt to produce artificial vitae. The former compounds lack the potency I need, but I sense I'm close. Calamine and orpiment are a given, and the cuprite binds them well. This time I will attempt aqua regia instead of aqua fortis, in hope it will produce a more even solution. The experiment was unsuccessful. The solution is highly acid, and proves impractical to put to any use except as a detergent. Organic tissue reacts especially violently to the solution, and should be handled with the greatest care. I may be able to use the recipe, but I'm losing hope that I will find an alchemic solution to my predicament. Right, so we've either got the makings of something to conveniently shoo away the steadily advancing meaty webs blocking our way, or some excellent shit to sprinkle inside Alexander's wardrobe. Then, when he's scratched all his skin off and comes running through the castle looking like a circumcised penis, I shall twat him with my lantern, and that shall be that. Get out of my way, chair. I have business here. Light tearing through my soul! Ah, it's another note. One day, I will return. If it wasn't for the thought of you, my love, I wouldn't be able to go on. When I find myself doing terrible things, I take comfort in you. As long as I am able to think of you and long for a life together, I know I'm better than the others. I weep for them, they lust for power without restraint, where I only crave fair judgment and a safe return. Daniel's heartfelt letter to his girlfriend there, most likely dead or near death, wrecked with tuberculosis, or whichever antiquated malady was doing the rounds at the time. Leper's elbow, or perhaps cobbler's knuckle. The cry of a womanling! Well, it sounds like she's good. I want wine! You brazen impediment! You twat hatch! You certainly got a lot of books. It must be aggravating to have to trek from one side of the castle to the other every time you want to read something. Huxley, I wish to read the Illustrated History of the Prussian Ice Pigeon. It is in the East Turret. I've packed enough rations for the 3-day journey, but not, I fear, for a return trip. You shall have to hurl yourself in the book down to me, Huxley, shielding the precious tome from impact damage with your body, at which point I shall retrieve the book and reacquaint myself with the wonders of this most blessed bird. What is this doing here? Who are you writing to, Huxley? Count Hexingdorf, again! If you love Count Hexingdorf so much, why don't you bloody marry him? You ingrate! You capricious buttered man! You fuck! You godless ferret stroker! Would he look so kindly upon thee if you approached him with wrinkled shirts? What here? More notes? More tidings?
17th of May, 1839. My hands tremble as I write. I feel a need to document my tribulation, for I fear that my memory will fail me if I linger. Today, I took some men and ventured into the dark, ancient passage we uncovered. Our torches burned faintly in the murky air as we slowly made our way underground. The men were superstitious and fearful. They argued loudly, and I felt their strange language getting to me. I mustered my strength and yelled at them to continue down the slopes and broken steps. The crudely carved passage confused me. It looked much older than the 4th century structure we had expected. The twisting path emerged into a great antechamber. The walls were lined with statues unlike any I'd ever seen. Despite their unearthly quality, I felt a strange familiarity toward them, which haunts me still. At the far end of the chamber, a great slab of stone sealed off whatever lay ahead. I gave the order to raise it, and as I pushed through the narrow space, the heavy stone suddenly dropped, sealing me inside. I was trapped.
Trapped in the rising tides of dishonesty! He hath sent you his favour, has he not? Here! You thought to keep this from me? You wet goat! It is mine now. A tax on the fickle, and let that be done in the end and the finish. No more letters to your precious cunt! This looks expensive. Let's play catch with it. Ah! Oh dear Count Hexendorf, please force yourself into my hindquarters. You strapping ass! You feeble-minded dog wrestler! Here is your throne of phalluses, you sprawling cunt! I'm guessing this is one of those slow burn horror games because I'm, 40 minutes in now? And, honestly, this would probably be pretty scary if I were a contractor assessing the place for repairs. But other than that, I'm really just having doors blown open in front of me while I nurse some sort of irrational fear of the dark. I get the odd creepy noise now and again. Like that one. That one sounded like a demon frog stuck in the ceiling. But other than that, I have to say, I like the story, but not scary. You're not even in my top 20. Sounds like there's somebody chewing their toenails in here, listen. Stop that. Stop it immediately. It's fucking disgusting.
Much of the castle is old and hasn't been tended to for centuries. When the shadow arrives, it won't take long until things start falling apart.
We're just buying time anyway. Let's do what we can.
There isn't much to be done about the walls. We should reinforce weak structures. The ground will tremble and there's a risk everything will cave in on us, especially downstairs. Here, and there. Let's get the servants working on it.
Alright, first things first. You shoddy man! You piss-legged wound! There we go. I know how Sir Hogs-a-Lot loves these running jokes. Oh, where's this shadow? Guess it's a big castle. Just as lost as I am. Maybe that's what that thing was a while ago, splashing around in the sewer. He's not gonna be happy. Fuck this map! I'm covered in shit! Whoa! There goes the ceiling. When Giants brings out Heritage Maintenance Simulator 2015, this castle will be the final boss. Do they have bosses in those games? I always figured that the final boss of Farming Simulator would be Old MacDonald. He's only got one of each animal, but that's because it's a ruse. He's a smack farmer, and he lets the gypsies stay on his land in exchange for protection. E-I-E-I-O. Oh, I read this note and it drove me insane.
17th May, 1839. After pounding the unforgiving stone wall for what seemed like an eternity, I realized it was hopeless. I was trapped. I fell to the ground, gasping for air, trying to focus. That's when I saw a faint blue shimmer. My weakened body was heavy to carry, but I managed to push myself toward the enchanting light.
Yeah, alright, there we are, that's my cue.
It was waiting for me. Enclosed in dark nothingness, I felt myself drawn to the mystic light. I reached out, closing it in my hands. The faint glow escaped my fingers and began to spark brightly and spirit me away, unlocking alien memories of spiraling towers, endless deserts, and impossible geometry. The next thing I can remember is the grating sound of stone being lifted, the voices of the Arabs pulling me to safety, and grasped firmly in my hands was the broken pieces of a most peculiar relic.
You know, I failed maths because of impossible geometry. And French because of impossible French. And RE. But that was because I was stoned in a field somewhere. I stand by my decision. Enough! I am the Lord of Doofingham, you witless rampart! And I shall not be delayed by your inability to be a ceiling. Have at you, you middling thing! You insolent hurdle! Mediocre bulwark! Return my chair, you knave! Cursed, godless perimeter! Egad, it is done! I am free!
You have to be swift when you activate the first one. You hear that? If it stops, you'll have to start over.
Isn't all this a bit excessive?
You can never be too careful, Daniel.
A quandary. See here, Huxley. A book seemingly trapped under glass. I shall show you a simple trick, Huxley, to retrieve any prize from its lustrous cage. Watch closely. Aga! Damn it. Ablaha! Blah! And the treasure is ours. A history of butters. Rest, old friend. I shall read to you. Alstadt and Brennenburg Castle, 1801. Another region rich with lore is Alstadt, deep within the East Prussian woods. For centuries there have been stories surrounding the hamlet and its neighbor, Castle Brennenburg. The quiet forest-clad mountains dressed with scattered lakes is as picturesque as can be, albeit the area is haunted by the dark. Ask any local and you will hear proof of the widespread superstition. All travelers should indulge themselves in such conversations, since it will certainly serve as exciting entertainment. All of them have their own twists on the tales, but there are some motifs that keep reappearing. The Gatherers. This story reaches all the way back to the time of the 30 Years' War. It is said that the soldiers who abandoned their duty got lost in the cold, dark woods, and were forever damned to roam the grounds. Their bodies wrought by their tainted souls have left them disfigured and empty of essence. Many have cited them over the years and described them as horrid revenants. They move silently through the woods, shying away from any beholder. They are called gatherers, as they seem to follow some ambition to steal living creatures. It is their prey which can be heard struggling inside damp burlap sacks, dragged behind them, which reveal their presence. What dark scheme do they follow? A visit undone. Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa, the well-known erudite, visited Alstadt at the start of the 16th century. He resided in the local inn for a fortnight, as he looked for remnants of kingdoms past. During his stay, all the prominent members of society paid notice, and he is mentioned in many records of the time. One day he went to investigate a burrow in the northwestern glades, only to never be seen again. Heinrich is known to have passed away in Grenoble some 10 years later. He dismissed the notion of ever visiting Alstadt, which makes you wonder what really happened. Who was this mysterious man who visited the sleepy hamlet in the woods? And what happened to him? The immortal Baron. The Baron of Brennenburg lives a reclusive life with his family at his castle nearby Alstadt, and like most those of noble birth, rumors are inherited alongside with the title. Researching the history reveals little before the castle was consumed by fire in the late 16th century. It was rebuilt by Alexander, a nobleman from the Rhinelands, claiming the role as protector of the Prussian state. Alexander helped the region to flourish, and remained popular throughout his presumed lifetime. The family has always been secretive when it comes to lineage and heritage. Therefore, the birth and death of Alexander and his offspring has never been fully recorded. This has fed the idea that the Baron is in fact the one and the same who came from the west over 300 years ago, lived through the time of occupation, and joined the coveted order of the Black Eagle, along with the great leaders of this country. Well, Huxley, the hour is late. We should retire. I to my chambers, and you to yours. Huxley, I have just remembered that the ceiling has collapsed, sealing the path to my room. I shall have to bed with you tonight. You? On the floor? I shan't hear of it. You, muscular fellow, away and prepare for our slumbering union. Easy, Derbedy. Fools rush in.